Hey everyone, this is Lana. I'm here live with you again this week with some more tips for lucidly and consciously building your dreams, health, wealth, relationships, your business, anything in a way where you can be absolutely, completely over the moon, obsessed with it. So give me a hashtag live if you're watching this on live. You can give me a hashtag replay if you're watching on catch up or on YouTube, and tell me where you're tuning in from. Say hi, let me know you can hear me. I love seeing who's in here. And as always, these training sessions are going to be interactive. So I really recommend grab a pen, grab a paper, open up your notebook, Word document, whatever it is. And when I'm sharing some of the questions in this training today or reflective points, feel free to share what you're feeling. Feel free to type in the chat. Let us know what's coming up for you. This is a time that you've crafted intentionally for yourself today to benefit from. So make it worth it for yourself, right? So today's tip is so good. It's connected to some of the things that have happened to me in the past 24 hours or really the past week that have been quite unexpected. Life, it often works in really mysterious ways. And so I've recognized that one of the ways that I began responding to some of these kinds of unexpected events has drastically changed. And this changes the kind of outcome of what's going to happen next, right? The way that we react to things. So what I want you guys to start thinking about and share as we begin diving into this today is, are you someone who harnesses lucidity in all types of situations? What I mean by that is, whilst you're awake, if things aren't going according to plan, do you tap in? Do you tune in? Do you ground? Do you begin co-creating a new vision? Or are you more likely to be someone who kind of freaks out if things don't go according to plan, or you feel like you're grasping onto something, or the plans that you had in place, the things that you were aiming for are just falling through your fingertips? Where are you on that scale at the moment? If we had a scale of 0 to 10, and 10 is, I'm lucid, I'm elevated, I'm aware that I'm a powerful, conscious co-creator, everything is falling perfectly into place in ways known, planned, and also unknown. And 0 is the other end of the scale where you're like freaking out, I'm on autopilot, if things don't go my way, I tend to panic, I feel extremely anxious, or I try to grasp onto what I expect it to be. Where do you find yourself on that scale? Even just today, each day can be different. No judgment wherever you are, but be honest with yourself, because that's the best place for getting started with this. Just acknowledging where you're at, and then you're able to work with what you need to move closer to that 10 on the scale, right? Which is awesome. Much better than not even giving yourself the opportunity to think about it at all. So I want to tell you a little bit about what's happened to me in the past 24 hours, this past week, and how you can apply this to your lucidity practice and your life. So I'm running my business, Get Lucid with Lana. I have 40 plus lucid entrepreneurs live in the Lucid Entrepreneur Lab at the moment, who I'm helping to grow their businesses, grow their lives, and help them with their lucid dreaming and lucid living practices as well. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of moving parts to that. Things don't always go according to plan, not just for the lucid entrepreneurs, but also in connection to my entire team, right? Managing 14 plus guest coaches who work alongside me in the lab, messaging with my video editors who have their own timelines, things to adjust within my timeline, working with conscious community coordinators who are managing my social media and getting people booked into my calendar so that we can start their epic journeys. You know, I have had lucid dreaming coaches who have their own schedules, and this is just the business side of things. I also have my own personal schedule to manage as well, right? Which includes things like navigating my Bible study, life groups that I'm attending, marriage groups that I'm attending. I have to work with my husband's schedule and ensure that we get to have quality time together and what's coming up for us as a married couple rather than just each of our own lives individually. That's me, if you can relate to any of what I'm talking about and your schedule has lots of moving parts. So you can imagine how things don't go entirely according to plan on any given week. And this past week, some of the things that came up was, I had a delayed flight back from Texas on the same day as launching my masterclass, Living to Succeed. I became a US citizen. I had to go and submit my first passport application between a full day of back-to-back sessions. My health insurance got randomly canceled because they had my old address on the account. And so you get my point, right? It's fine. These are all just life things that happen, but what I see happening with people before getting into the lucidity practices is they start allowing these kinds of things to just totally throw them off. They give themselves excuses for getting out of something, saying it just wasn't meant to happen for me, it wasn't meant to be. I don't have enough time or space or energy to lead my life in that kind of way. Or they panic, they shut down. And so rather than having that abundant, lucid mindset of like, you know what, this flight is way too delayed, but best case scenario, we get to spend another night in Houston. I get to do my masterclass from a super cool location that maybe ends up having even better energetics than if I did it here at my home in Colorado, right? Instead of that, go to the worst case scenario for everything and very rarely even consider the possibility that something going wrong can end up as something even more right for themselves. So call me basic, but I firmly believe that you don't need that much to get a lucidity practice started up and have it be an amazing, crazy experience without that much going on. A huge fundamental of that is that you begin living lucidly first. I've practiced lucid living and consciously co-creating my reality to the point where I truly don't believe anymore in things going badly for me. In fact, if anything goes badly, I use it to just further enhance my lucidity practices. I immediately think if I'm stressed, if things are seeming chaotic, I must be dreaming. And so I reality test that. And if I find myself awake, I shift into that kind of inspired action. What would I do if this was a lucid dream? How would I maybe act differently? What would be the best next step to take? Many of you who are tuning in who are lucid dreamers probably recognize that your lucid dreaming avatar acts very differently to maybe how you do in the waking state. Maybe when something's happening in a dream and you're lucid, you feel much more empowered, much more inspired, and so you take action in that kind of lucid and empowered way. And it's about stepping into that in the waking state too. All the things you need for a really potent lucid dreaming practice are not the things that you need to get started with lucid dreaming. You don't need a sleep mask. You don't need 10 years of mindfulness practice. You don't need pills, energens, herbs. You don't need to set alarms on your phone. You don't need to do those like physical checks every 5-10 minutes, every single hour of the day. You don't need to turn light switches on and off or poke your hand and see if your finger goes through it. You don't need anything like that. The things that you actually need are not those things at all. And I could go on and on with the list, but you see, lucid dreamers who are using the things that I just went over in that kind of list, they're not really harnessing their own lucidity. They are relying on external circumstances and creating false narratives throughout the day in the hope that this will somehow magically transfer and get them lucid during the night, even though it's totally unnatural, it's totally abnormal and out of their day-to-day routine. So guess what? Your dreams are reflective of your authentic self. And the deepest things that you need to process, that you need to pay attention to. So if you're doing something unnatural, weird, playing with light switches, doing the poke your hand thing, do you really think that that's going to transfer into a deep and consistent lucid dreaming practice? No, absolutely not. The things on that list are not connected to you and your life. They are generalized. And so they can just work for anyone or anything going on, right? It's kind of like a guessing game. That might work for the average person. But absolutely, if you want to check your phone, if you want to have an alarm going off 100 times a day, if you want to play with light switches or poke your palm 100 times a day, I don't doubt that eventually that will end up showing up in your dream space, but it will be an exhausting practice for you to get lucid. Absolutely it will. Will you be able to keep it up and be consistent with that kind of thing? I wouldn't really bet on it. So type I have in the chat for me if you've explored using one of those kinds of techniques, one of those kinds of exhausting practices in an attempt to get lucid, or even if you've ever just felt frustrated, been trying with a lucidity practice for months and months and not had it work for you. Type I have for me. What really matters is that you tap into the lucidity that is abundant and readily available for you in your own circumstances. What matters is that you navigate your day-to-day life whilst really harnessing lucidity for yourself. And by doing that, you're truly building that kind of awareness practice, the kind of mindset that transfers over to the dream space seamlessly whilst you sleep. That's what you need to do. Most other things are irrelevant. I'm gonna say it. It's basic, but I'm gonna say it. You know, I've built my own business. I have an ever-growing team. I support so many students on a weekly basis all over the world. And this concept that I'm talking about with lucid dreaming and lucid living, it works the same in all areas of your life. What I mean by that is I could have created a long list like I just did for like, you don't need this, you don't need the sleep mask, you don't need the herbs, you don't need the pills. I could create a long list of all the things that I thought I would have needed before starting up my own business. I could have thought, well, I would need a business degree, money, maybe a background in finances, probably some certification, maybe like 3 to 5 years experience working as a coach or with a coach, fancy recording equipment, office space, probably like 40 plus hours of free time a week, right? And the list goes on. But the truth is, I don't need any of those things to get started. I didn't need any of those things to get started. And I still don't have any of those kinds of things with the 3 to 5 years experience I do have now. But if I had thought I needed that at the time, I would have never got started. So is there a list that you're creating for yourself right now that's actually holding you back from improving and enhancing your life? Be honest with yourself. And if you're feeling brave, share with me what that list is. Type in the comments, DM me. I'm here. This is supposed to be supportive, right? So share what the list is. Give it a name. Set that as like, you know, this is my holdback list. This is my broke-ass business list. This is my not loosening into lucidity lists. These are the things that I've convinced myself needs to happen before I can achieve some of these things. Share just one thing from the list with me that you truly believe might be holding you back. I really encourage you, starting today, have a good think about what maybe the devil is perhaps whispering in your ear, whatever you want to call it, that kind of self-sabotaging voice that's stopping you from getting started. What kind of useless excuse have you been giving yourself that's holding you back, whether it's in your health, wealth, relationships, fitness, business, dreams, lucid dreams even. Happens in a lot of people's lucid dreams, right? They convince themselves that they can't do a particular kind of thing, or that they need to achieve this before they achieve that. And these things don't just stop in the dream space, right? They come up in the waking state as well. Some of the fears that come up in your dreams, you'll see as repeating patterns in the waking state. So pay attention. What's showing up in your dreams? What's showing up in the subconscious? What's coming up in the unconscious? What are the things you really need to be paying attention to? Start now. Start today. Put it out there energetically. Write it down. I'm starting today. And pledge it with us. It's about starting before you're ready. It's about taking imperfect action. If you believe that what you have to share with the world, if you have faith, if you believe in the gifts and God-given talents that you've been provided, maybe you want to be an expert lucid dreamer, maybe you have dreams of being a coach or an entrepreneur, maybe a spiritual healer, whatever it is, know that it will be valuable to share this gift with others, and that you don't need to have anything holding you back. You don't need to create extra things to hold you back. Whatever it is that you love to do, whatever it is that you are passionate about, whatever your dreams are guiding you towards, know that that's enough. And that's it. Find a way to get started with that. Maybe it's your lucid dreaming practice and you're creating all these different things that need to occur throughout your day, like the hand thing, the light switches, the alarms. You're convincing yourself unless you do that, you won't get lucid. Let that concept go. It's not what you actually need. It's not serving you. You can get lucid tonight. You can go and take a nap right now. Induce a lucid dream if you really want to. Give it a go after this training session. Go lie down if you have the time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and induce a lucid dream. If you believe that you can do that, you will actually do it. It can be that simple. So do it today. Try it out. Test yourself. Prove yourself wrong with where you're at today. Allow God, allow divine guidance, allow your dreams to start directing you towards these next steps. And trust that you have absolutely everything that you need to take some of those steps forward today. Trust that things are going in the right direction for you, even when it's not totally according to plan. Stop listening to the self-sabotaging voices. Stop. They say you need this and this and this, and you gotta check off the boxes and complete all that before you achieve X, Y, Z. No. Instead, just dream bigger. Start lucid living today. Lucid dreaming today. Even though, I didn't find all the things that you would see listed on a blog of this is how you start a business. These are the things that you need to be an entrepreneur. Here I am running an incredibly successful business, and not just any business, it's the business of my dreams. Full-time, location independent, financially free, serving others, helping them rise up and do the same, living my best life. So live and dream your life lucidly as well. I'm speaking it, I'm living it, I'm doing it, and I promise you, there is no reason stopping you from doing the things on your path other than yourself. Don't do the holdbacks. Don't make a list of things that are excuses or things that don't need to actually stop you. So that's my tip for you today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful for you. I would love to hear your thoughts about today's topic, what came up for you. Please share with me whether you watched live, watched on replay, what was your biggest takeaway of this from today's training session. If you don't feel comfortable commenting in public, send me a message. I would love to hear what came up. I will see you the same time next week and right here in the Lucid Dreaming and Lucid Living Facebook community. I'm wishing you a week full of big dreams, lucidity, and abundance. Bye.
It is life-changing, both personally and professionally.
The process of really stepping into the next level of my entrepreneurship in ways that I hadn't even realized I was blocked. Because the dream world reveals to you not only what's possible, but also what maybe is hidden.
But I've learned so much about how lucid dreams can benefit my future and my business, and it's been such an exciting adventure already, and I cannot wait to continue on.
I love the way she structured the course and how it's so clear and kind of step by step. So for a complete novice like me, who only really had a very vague idea of what lucid dreaming actually was, it felt really accessible.
I feel more focused on exactly where I want to go, and I am so grateful to be part of this course. It will change your life, it will change your mindset, it will give you tools you never knew you wanted. Like, it's seriously amazing.
But I have to say that Lana is an amazing teacher of the class, and I would suggest anybody taking it. It's definitely scholarly, like college level kind of course, and it's an 8-week program, so check it out.
Even if simply on a one-on-one basis in her dream coaching, I think that's extremely valuable.
If you are on the fence, if you are thinking about getting into your dream life, I suggest getting lucid with Lana.